Any roster decisions?
Actually, I knew that was going to be the first one. Yes. I've let the players know today, what our plan is, and it's changed a little bit from our division series roster. We're going to add a pitcher and subtract a position player. So Miles Straw will not be on the roster. And we're going to add Hector Rondon and Joe Smith, and Will Harris will not be on the roster. So if you look at our roster from last series, copy paste every other name.
Just what went into that thinking? I mean, Straw was
the
guy you really didn't use that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you piece together. I mean, I should make my plea for like a 26-man roster for the playoffs, because he would have been a nice weapon to have. He and Marisnick are very similar. Jake's got a ton of history in this ballpark, and certainly on the defensive side, I could run Tony Kemp as well. So the extra runner versus Evan Gattis is a guy on the bench, the extra pitcher. Getting through this lineup's really hard, and I want to give. I guess we want to give myself as much opportunity to mix and match and create some different looks for these hitters that we're about to face. So extra pitcher in a 7-game series. Having a bench of most likely like a McCann, Gattis, Kemp, and Marisnick is a good look.
Down here on the left.
What made Will Harris kind of the odd guy out? I know you like Joe against the righties, but what made Will?
Yeah, no, it's not really Will. I mean, Will's odd man out by numbers, not by skill. And we just, I think Josh James came in and became a viable weapon. He's got length. He's got he's got 100 miles an hour in his back pocket. He's got a good breaking ball, a good changeup. Hector and Joe, both very valuable relievers, very high-end relievers for us. And so, it's a little bit of just you got to pick a group of guys, and we're going with the guys that we feel best match up for different looks for different parts of their batting order. And not an easy exercise, because there's a great argument that Will should be on this roster. There's a great argument that Chris Davinsky, Brad Peacock should be on this roster, but it surprises me that I can say that I can say that those guys are left off a playoff roster, but it's the way it is.
Ken, back left.
AJ, in your 20-plus years in the big leagues, various roles, where would you put Justin Verlander if you were ranking starting pitchers you've seen over that time?
Number one right now. He's my number one starter. I think he's a pitcher that transcends a lot of different generations. He's stood the test of time. He's stood the test of the evolution of the game. He's evolved as a pitcher himself with how he uses his pitches, what he believes in. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. I think he's someone that has done everything in the game, from being a big-time pitcher in the postseason to his personal struggles where people were writing him off as nearly ending his career to now being a Cy Young contender. So it's been incredible to watch him grow and mature. When I was with the Tigers as a player when they drafted him, and he was in the minor leagues when I was ending my career, but you heard a lot about him, and I guess rarely do you get someone who performs above the threshold that we put on these players nowadays that are drafted high or that are first overall or that are in the top 5 picks. I mean, it's hard to exceed expectations nowadays, and he's doing it every step along the way at an age where he's been written off multiple times and responded with his best season ever.
Back to the right.
AJ, you guys obviously have a deep bullpen based solely on the names that you've mentioned that aren't on the roster.
Right.
Given that, why was it important for you guys at the trade deadline to move an upgrade in the bullpen, and what were the kind of factors that drove you in that direction?
Yeah, I think you're always out a reliever. I mean, that's just kind of what you feel like you need to do and answer any questions that you have. I mean, we've had a good bullpen for a couple of years now, and I know last postseason, I sat at tables like this and had to defend our bullpen quite a bit because we were moving our starters into the relief side, and I just think when you can never have too many pitchers, you can never have too many weapons, you can never address every single part of dynamic lineups like we're about to face. And so when the guys became available, our front office did a good job of vetting through the options and really liked the additions of Osuna and Presley specifically. We address it in the off season with Smith and Rondon. We challenge our guys to always find different ways and find different avenues to get guys out, and we wound up with a healthy group of really good performers that we have to choose from when you limit yourself in the postseason. So it's nice to have that, and then you sprinkle in a McCullers now in the back end. It makes it even deeper.
Here in the middle.
AJ, Justin is one of a series of pitchers who came to Houston and seemed to show immediate improvement, striking out more guys, walking fewer guys. Where should the credit go for that change? For him, for Cole, for Morton, Presley, all these guys?
I think credit always starts with the players. I mean, their talent is their talent, their work ethic, their open-mindedness, their ability to implement is critical in this. Brent Strom's been a terrific pioneer of a lot of different things with the pitching department. CB over here to Doug White in the bullpen now. Guys that have touched these guys' careers. Our analytics team, our front office does a great job of providing information, providing thoughts, ideas. But it circles back to the player. I always credit the player because he has to be the guy. He has the ball with the ball in his hand. And that collection of people that I just mentioned that provide information, push, pull, tug, applaud, and impact players' careers is a true team effort.
Okay, a few more. We'll get Verlander in here. Over here to the right.
AJ, how has Alex's personality in the clubhouse and the way he carries himself changed with all the success he's had here over the last year?
Bregman or Cora? Or Cintron, I should say too. So Bregman, Bregman is really everything you want in a baseball player. I mean, his personality is enormous. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's obviously very entertaining. I don't know his handle on Twitter, or I would give it to you. He's just somebody that people gravitate to. He doesn't ever have a bad day. He gets frustrated with himself when he's not perfect. He wants to be this. He wants to be the best baseball player he's ever been around, and I applaud him for his approach and always trying to find ways to get better. But when you walk into a major league clubhouse as a young player, and he's still a young player, and you're able to you get positive reactions out of the pitching side, the Latino side, the American side, the position player side. There just aren't that many players in the game that kind of transcend an entire major league clubhouse, and he's one of them. And you never know what to expect with him. I didn't know the stares were coming. I didn't know the Tiger to Floyd Merriweather comparison. Like, that was pretty unique. He brings it every day.
Jason, in the back on the left.
AJ, how would you describe the connection between Verlander and Cole? Do you think that Cole could have had the season he's had without it? And do you think that he's had an impact on Justin?
I think he could have had this season because Cole's very gifted and tremendously intellectually curious on how to get better. But I think JV's helped. I think elite pushes elite. They have a nice brotherhood between the two of them. You add Keuchel into the mix, and McCullers and Charlie Morton, and our entire rotation fed off of wanting to kind of get their slice of attention. And JV does a great job of setting the tone at the top of the rotation, and Garrett, who's masterful at grabbing one little thing from everybody that he comes across. JV to Dallas to Lance to Strami to he's intellectually curious. He asks a lot of questions, and so that and being thrust behind Verlander every single time along the way. There had to have been a little bit of positive impact there. So I see him talking all the time. They're always talking pitching, and they're debating. They don't always agree. But I think Garrett's demeanor, makeup, and ability to gravitate to people that can help him get better, help that relationship from the get-go.
What is it about October that seems to bring out the best in guys like you and other big game pitchers when the lights are the brightest and there's more focus on you and the games are magnified and that sort of thing?
I don't know. I think maybe just because the lights are brighter, it's a little more noticeable if you have a good game. I think, you either want to be in the moment or you don't. For me, I've always wanted to be in it. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to have success, but when you're not shying away from from the moment, and doing everything you can to be prepared. I think that's the biggest thing in any facet. If you're walking in to take a test, and you're prepared, you feel more confident. When I'm walking out to the mound and I know that I've done everything I can possibly do up to this point, all the way back to my first workout of the off season, I've done everything to build up to this moment, to this point in time, and know that I'm as prepared as I can possibly be, physically, mentally, and the rest is just time to go play baseball.
Next question.
Justin, what do you remember about J.D. Martinez when he was with Detroit? He was talking about his early struggles with the Astros and how he learned from failure, and just in general, guys who can struggle early in their career and then all of a sudden find it, turn their whole career around, and what you're able to see with him with the Tigers.
Yeah, it's been really impressive. Honestly, having been there from the moment he turned his career around, he went and completely revamped his swing that offseason and saw immediate dividends from hitting 10 homers, I think it was, in April in the minor leagues, to coming up and never stopped hitting from then till now. So it was honestly, him and I had a lot of great conversations. We like to go back and forth at each other sometimes, kind of talk hitting, talk pitching, just kind of pick each other's brains. But seeing somebody like that who works so hard and turned their career around to where he's at now, as a fellow player, and you respect it, and I'm happy for him. I really am.
Stay there on the left.
Justin, last year you were pitching for that first ring. This year, besides going for a second one, do you also feel like you're sort of pitching to cement your legacy as an all-time great if you have another big postseason?
I don't know, man. I don't think about that. I try not to anyway until it's brought to my attention. That's not why I pitch. That's not why I play this game. I play the game because I love it, and I love competing. That's what I love to do. So, these are the biggest moments against the best teams and the brightest lights. It's the best time to compete. So, I've always just been, kind of like Finding Nemo, Dory. Just keep swimming. That's me. Just keep pitching. Just head down. Prepare myself and just keep pitching, man. And at the end of my career, hopefully, when I look up and all is said and done, that's cemented my legacy. But as far as what I think about, it's not that. It's just pitching, just taking the ball every 5 days.
Stay on the left. Back.
Justin, obviously the Astros are an organization that relies heavily on analytics. How do you balance digesting the information that the coaching staff may give you while also not suffering from information overload?
Yeah, I think, having started my baseball career before the analytic blossom, I guess. I don't really know how to term it, but just learning how to pitch with feel. I think that benefits me big time in games where you can be weighed down by too much information, where you don't trust your eyes and your instincts. I think I've been able to do a good job blending the information that I can take from the analytic department, and also blending just the thousands and thousands of pitches I've thrown at this level against hitters, and when it comes down to it out there on the field, I rely more on my instincts than I do the analytics.
Jason, back left.
Justin, Martin Maldonado dropped out of the sky in the middle of the season and caught your entire staff. What about him enabled him to make the connection that he made with, especially your rotation, and you guys have not missed a beat?
Yeah, he cares. Easy as that. He stepped in right away, and he cared. He cared to take the time to talk to everybody individually, learn all of our signs, learn all of our tendencies, learn all of our ticks, whatever it was, what makes us comfortable, what we would want him to do. And I know that sounds pretty easy to do, but in the middle of a season, while you're trying to go out there and play a game and perform at a high level, to also be able to take the time to do that and really kind of just fit right in, it's not easy to do. And I think what it comes down to is he understood, and him and I talked about it a little bit. He understood when he first got here, his offense was struggling pretty bad, and he just didn't care. He's like, that's not why I was brought here. I was brought here to make you guys better as a starting pitching staff, as a pitching staff as a whole, to stop the running game, to do the little things as a catcher. And he understood that, and he took a lot of pride in that, and I think that's what made the transition seamless.
Back here on the right.
Justin, obviously you had a ton of success in Detroit, but since joining the Astros, you've had a huge drop in walk rate and a big jump in strikeouts. What made that change?
I don't know, man. I think I've just been more consistent. I think the last couple years, even though there were pretty good seasons, I just wasn't quite as consistent, and I think that's something that I focused on heavily this spring training. I talked about it, and paying attention to the little things in spring that I normally wouldn't pay attention to. And I know that seems easy, but in spring training, most of the time my focus is just to get my body prepared, get my arm ready to start the grind of a regular season. And this year, instead of waiting for some inconsistencies to show themselves in season, because that's usually when you see them, I think, mostly because you try not to put too much pressure on yourself in spring. So in season, when hitters are really up there grinding, I think that's when it's easier to see what's a little off here and there. So instead of waiting for that to happen in season this year, I really just tried to act like spring training was in season and try to pick up on anything that could be slightly off for me. And honestly, I think that paid off greatly for me right out of the gate. I felt like I had much better feel than I usually do.
Okay, a couple more. Kenny in the back on the left.
Justin, you said you just keep your head down and keep pitching. I'm wondering, do you allow yourself to think about how much longer you want to do this? And do you look at Tom Brady? Do you want to be the Tom Brady of baseball?
I mean, yeah. I think the goal is to be healthy and to be strong as long as I can. I think as long as I pay attention to my body and I take care of things that typically would creep in and start to cause issues as you get older, I think you can address those early on. And I think treating that stuff before it becomes an issue is what makes it not become an issue, as easy as that sounds. But I mean, there's no set number for me. I think I just want to pitch as long as I can. I've had a great learning experience the last 5 years or so, and I think that's going to be what prepares me for the second half of my career.
Last one in the back, Dave.
I said second half.
Yeah, second half. So are we in the third quarter or the fourth quarter?
Early third.
You want me to go 2 months? Justin, what was David Price like as a teammate, and do you find it just kind of baffling that he's never had a win as a starter in the postseason?
Great teammate. Really enjoyed my time with David. Him and I still talk all the time. Stay in touch. And yeah, I do find that odd. Honestly, I hope the trend continues for the short term, though.
Alex, what do you remember about attending your first game at Fenway Park when you were a kid?
I remember there used to be glass, right? Yeah, we sat behind the glass, and yeah, we went and saw the Rays play, the Red Sox. I want to say Hank Greenberg was the I'm trying to remember who it was. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Frank Howard was the Rays hitting coach. My dad and my grandfather knew him, I think. So we went and told him hello. And I mean, great place to watch your first game. Fenway Park's unbelievable. Fans here are incredible.
When they drafted you out of high school, was there any minute or so of consideration at that point, or were you pretty set on going to LSU?
Honestly, I wanted to sign really bad if it was going to be in the first round, but they didn't take me in the first round, so I basically told them I was going to go to school, and it was a big honor to be drafted by them. And but yeah, there was never really a thought like, hey, I'm going to sign. Once I fell out of the first round, I knew I was going to go to LSU, and very glad I did.
Next question. In the back, Ken.
Oh, thank you. Alex, back here. The fact that this is now the two best teams in baseball records this year, does that intensify or enhance this upcoming series, anything like that?
Well, yeah, it's like you said, I think it's the two best teams playing against each other, so it's going to be fun. You got two of the best fan bases in baseball, two of the best pitching staffs, two of the best offenses going at it. And it's going to be fun. I mean, we played 7 times during the regular season. It was like a really evenly matched series. We're looking forward to it. I mean, we got to keep our head down, take it one pitch at a time, and stay focused.
Down here.
Alex, you guys usually have home field advantage in the playoffs. You're obviously starting here. I know last year's last year, but does it help knowing that you split at Dodger Stadium last year, and then when you played the Red Sox in the ALDS last season, even though it was at Minute Maid, you were able to get to Sale early, kind of set that tone. Does that help at all mentally for this team?
We definitely love playing in front of our fans at Minute Maid Park. I feel like we play well there. But I saw that the Red Sox had the best home record and we had the best road record, and it's the same exact number. So, I mean, we'll see. It's baseball. The mound's still 60 feet, 6 inches away, and as far as we're concerned, we got to go out and get Game 1. And if we get Game 1, we got home field advantage.
Next question. Anything else? Here in the back.
Alex, how excited are you to face Sale at night versus daytime? Because daytime Sale at Fenway Park is definitely difficult.
Is it really?
That's what I've heard.
I think he's difficult. I think he's difficult if he's pitching whenever. He's tough. So it doesn't matter if he's pitching 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. He's going to be tough, and we know that whole team over there is tough. So we're looking forward to facing them. We like to compete, and we're gonna take it one pitch at a time. We got a pretty good guy going for us too, in Verlander.
Over here on the left.
Alex, has there ever been a moment where you felt like AJ wouldn't allow you to be yourself, or has that ever been an issue, or is it a quality he has to let guys show their personality, let them be themselves?
Well, I'll tell you, I wasn't going to show my personality. I was 1 for 38 to start with. You don't get to show your personality when you're 1 for 38. So, I don't know. I think AJ does a good job of letting everybody in our clubhouse just be themselves and get after it. And he trusts that every day we're prepared and ready to compete.
You played with JD throughout the minor leagues. You guys came up, I think, within just a couple of days of each other. You both signed big contracts around the same time. What's your relationship been with him and leading up to this playoff series now?
Well, I think it's been great, since we play all the way from minor leagues to the big leagues. I'm really happy with, all the things that have been happening to him, because he's a great kid. He's a hard worker, and he really deserves to, everything that has happened to him, like I said, and I hope he have a lot of success through, all his career, but not this week.
Next question. In the back.
Jose, just continuing on JD, do you remember when he told you that he was cut by Houston and what the conversation was like?
When he left Houston?
Yeah.
It's hard to remember what he said. Obviously, we talked, but, for some reason, I always believe, he's going to be the player he is right now, because, like I said, he's upset with hitting since I met him. And, he did really good through the minor league. He got a couple, tough years with us in the big leagues. But, I think the best thing that happened to him was, going to the Tigers and, becoming the player he is.
Next. Anybody else? Over here on the right. I'm sorry, on the left.
Jose, how did you feel about your season? Obviously, you dealt with injuries. I know you set the bar very, very high. You're very, very demanding of yourself. How did you feel overall about your season, and then the ability to have these playoffs to kind of, clean the slate a little bit?
Well, team-wise, I think we are where, we want to be, and I'm really, happy with that. We've been working many years to become a playoff team. We did it last year. We have a lot of success. And, this year we have a great opportunity to make history. Obviously we're facing one of the best teams in the big league, and, I have a lot of respect for the Red Sox. But, we have a great team. Individually, I think I could do better. A lot of up and down for me this year, but we're here in playoff. It's a new opportunity to redeem your season.
Jose here on the right.
Jose, talk a little bit about what Bregman means to the clubhouse. AJ mentioned he can connect with the pitchers, the Hispanic players, everybody. He just seems to have a knack to really the people gravitate to him.
Yeah, it's amazing what he means for the team. At such a young age, he becomes a superstar, and he has a great relationship with every single guy on the clubhouse. He's a leader, and like I said, he can connect with pitchers, position players, coaches, everybody, and. Like I said many times, he's the biggest reason why we are playing the Red Sox right now.
Anyone else in the back? Scott?
Alex Cora spoke about Mookie Betts in the first round and how he kind of told him, you don't have to carry the team and to not put too much pressure on yourself. And he mentioned how he's had conversations with you in the past, in the postseason about this. Do you remember any conversations with Alex about kind of his encouragement and letting you know that you've got a lot of guys around you?
Yeah, for me, Alex, he knows a lot about baseball because obviously he played a lot of years. And, he say things to you that they're really, meaningful and they help you a lot. I don't want to give him too much credit because he's on the other side now, but he knows what he's doing.
Are you worried that he has some inside info on you guys?
Not really.
No.
Like I say, this is a new year. We have really good players. I think both sides are really good and have really good teams, pitching, hitters, and it's going to be a pretty good series.
Dave in the back on the left.
Jose, in Game 2, you'll be facing a guy who has never won a start in the postseason. And for an opposing team, do you think that matters at all when the game starts?
That's probably a pretty hard question. I think one thing about baseball is every day is a new opportunity, and he can come the second game and pitch really good, or we can take advantage of that and, score a lot of runs. It can go either way. I always going to go with, my team and try to, win the game. But at this point, I don't think it doesn't matter because, like I said, that's a new opportunity for him, but it's a new opportunity for us as well as a team.
Okay. And last one here on the left.
Jose, last year you guys had one of the greatest offenses of all time. This year you've had one of the greatest pitching staffs of all time. Are you impressed with the depth in the organization, as impressed as we are as writers?
Yeah. Last year we have probably, I thought we have the best team we could ever had. And then we show up this year in papers, the team looks, way better. And I think we've been prominent during the season. Justin, Garrett, Charlie, Lance, and Dallas, they're unbelievable what they accomplished this year. If I have to say one thing that why we're sitting here, maybe pitch stats and Alex Bregman, but I'm to answer your question, I'm as surprised as you guys that how good our pitching staff is right now.